this is a great initiative. It's great to get a lot of travelers together, because the one thing that is really hard about travel is finding a travel companion. Now, I don't know, I mean, we are all here and you never know who will connect with whom and where it will lead to. You might just end up taking a trip together. I think there's a lot of people giving a lot of inspiration today as well. I think Jehan, Regan, their job is to bring you a lot of varied, very intense travel experiences, which you can take up and explore. First up, I just wanted to say that your travel is an expression of you. It's different for each person. I mean, it's very hard to say that this is travel. It's very hard to pin down saying that this travel is this is good travel, this is bad travel. It's each person to each his own. Whatever your trip be, wherever you're going, whatever length of trip that you decide to take, what your budget for the trip is, whatever you do, travel will always have an opportunity. It will always give you an opportunity to learn. It will always give you an opportunity to take something from it. All you need to do really is explore a little bit. So as a child, I traveled a lot. I mean, into my early teens, I did travel abroad with parents, traveled to the north of India, did some religious trips, did all sorts of trips, traveled to Kenya. I did a lot of those trips, but really, I feel like I was born as a traveler on this one solo trip that I did in 2005 or so to the Himalayas. So I was in the Himalayas with two porters, walking around for about 2 months between Uttaranchal and Sikkim. I mean, of course, I took my time moving between the two places, but that was a fantastic trip. That I think like that is where my definition of travel came about. That's where I got the opportunity to connect with locals. I got the opportunity to do what I wanted, to stay 2 days extra at a place, to move on, to walk, to hire a jeep if I needed to, and basically but express myself. Read a book for a day, take a break, take a rest day when I wanted. Travel on my own terms. I think this was quite defining to me. In due course, I met Janki, who's now my wife. She's also a like-minded traveler. She has had her sojourn. She's done solo trips to Bangkok, diving trips to Bangkok for a month and a half. Another solo trip to Bhutan for about a month and a half. So I think we vibed well, and now we travel together. Most of the trips that we take, we just do as a couple. We usually don't travel with other people. I found camping in my different travels, I found camping to be very liberating. It basically allowed me to do what I wanted. If I had a tent in my backpack, I knew that, while I was traveling, I would, with some jugaad or the other, manage to find a place where I'll pitch a tent. I didn't have to have a booking beforehand. I didn't have to have an itinerary. I could go, open-ended and manage. Where does travel start, right? So, the starting point for any trip is, of course, your planning. And planning is not, to my mind, itineraries. It's not bookings. It's not, your suitcases and packing them. It's not your concierge services. That's not what it's all about. To me, frankly, a plan is to dwell, read on destinations, the local customs, connect with a local there sometimes. There was one trip I did in Bangalore. I wanted to go trekking in Coorg. I didn't know anybody there and I wanted to do a trip on my own. So what I did is I just reached out to certain people in Bangalore through some forums. I said, is there a willing traveler who is willing to go with me? With a reference, found somebody who was willing to travel, and we did this 6-7 day trip in Coorg. It was outstanding. It was great fun. I basically needed someone who would speak the language, because to be lost in the jungles of Karnataka, not knowing the language would have been just crazy. So yeah, I mean, this research I feel is important. The other thing, and I think this should have been first, is a travel partner. If you're traveling solo, it's a fantastic experience. You should try it with a lot of caution. You should know what you're doing. But feel free to explore. As long as you're educated, you know that yes, in general, somebody else has done this solo trip before, or someone has explored this region. It's been fine if you know that. Like, don't go solo to Africa, in Nairobi. I mean, it may work out fine. I know people that have done it, but those people go with an open mind, saying that, if I get mugged once in a trip, that's okay. It's like that. So, I mean, be safe, but taking a solo trip is fantastic. It's an eye opener. It's a great experience. Another thing is, on your trips, walk. This is something that, like, frankly, if you want to explore, walk. If you're on a road trip, park your car and walk. Go to a point, like say you're going to Lonavala also, and there's like Rajmachi Point where there are like 100, or you're going to Darjeeling, there's Tiger Point, everyone is waiting to see the sunrise. Walk 5 minutes away, you will find a lovely quiet spot where you will be able to sit, where you will be able to spend your time and catch your scene, whatever scenery, in solitude. I can't stress this enough. Park, walk, just be with your backpacks, get out, walk. This is something that's like that a lot of people don't do. So which is where you will find that, a regular traveler doesn't do this enough, which is where you will find that there's quietude just 5 minutes away from a popular tourist destination. Yeah. Don't bring Bombay to your travels. Do not do that. Do not carry Bombay to your travels. It doesn't work. Like the Raj travels that will cook you idli and give you jalebis, frankly, for dessert in France. Doesn't work for me. On a road trip, always carry a map. I love maps. I'm like totally into maps. Anywhere I go, I'll first pick up a map. I'll orient myself. Now, of course, if you're in India, your GPS will tell you where you are. If you've got data, and Google Maps will tell you where you are. Abroad, data is a little expensive. So, the old way, having the maps the old way is fantastic. Char rasta aega, wahan se right marna, that kind of thing. And that's great, because it's great engagement. Your road trip then becomes a pleasure. Then you're not concentrating as much on the destination as you are on the road trip itself. Of course, if you're with your car, you can stop wherever you want. You see something you like. So hazard it. If you've driven in India, you can pretty much drive anywhere in the world. I feel like it just takes a little mental training. So it's worth trying out. Nane Ghat is a trek. It's in the Malshej region. So it's about the base village is it's fairly easy to get to. The base village, you go via Kalyan, and it will take you, I want to say, about 2.5 hours to get there. And then it's a trek, about 2.5 hour trek. It's lovely. It's very well documented, very popular trek. There are caves at the top where you can stay. So if you've just carried a sleeping bag or a blanket or something, it's a great place to stay. And it's a great monsoon trek as well. So having run campgrounds for like 3-4 years now, I'm rethinking camping in the sense that this whole tent stigma, right, associated with camping. Like if you're not stayed in a tent, you're not camping. Frankly, I'm at least personally beginning to rethink that. So what do I really get out of a camping trip? It's a trip that I've done on my own. It's a scenic trip that I've done in nature. It's got the magic of like starry nights. Maybe you'll see fireflies. Maybe some of that sort. You're enjoying the mystery of there's a certain uncertainty. Where am I going to be? What am I going to do? How's it going to be? Stuff like that. If you are doing a road trip with a tent in India, then there are some tips here. Carry your gear. Be prepared. Camp with a villager. Don't just do it just anywhere. Yeah, spend some time looking for a place to camp. The 3 o'clock rule really applies. Yeah, and choose a spot where you will not get too much attention, because if a cop doesn't catch you early in the morning by 8 o'clock, if you have not woken up, there will be 20 villagers looking at your tent saying, "Baba, ye kya ho raha hai? Ye kahan se? Where is this alien landed from?" So in Yellowstone, I hammock camped for about 6 or 7 days. It was great fun. It was great fun because it was a great experiment. Like those little white things on the side, they are meant so that the water, it was actually raining, so the water coming down from the side of the tree doesn't come along the rope into the hammock, it goes down. So it's just improvisation. You're doing this, you have taken the time. I'm okay, I'm by myself, I'm okay with a night which is not so comfortable. I will jugaad it, I will try it out. It was fantastic because my backpack weighed nothing. This was my, frankly, this was my tent. It was just a tiny little thing. I had a small sleeping bag with me, I had a small stove with me, and that's it. That's what I was smoke. Okay, so this is a feeder waterfall for the Thosegar waterfalls at Kas. Kas is next to Satara on the Bombay-Bangalore highway, ahead of Pune. Again, why I remember this is that I don't think it's legal, but we went and swam in this thing. We saw it and we were like, we must. And it was a fantastic experience. It was like really. Be happy to take any questions that you guys have. I think I also need to scoot. Yeah.
So So do you ever take travel insurance when you travel, and does that ever help you in any way?
Sure. I've never used travel insurance. Every time I travel abroad, I've taken travel insurance. In India, if I have taken travel insurance one time when I went on an expedition. So that's a special type of insurance that you take for a high risk trip, right? But otherwise, within India, I have never taken travel insurance. Abroad, I think it's travel insurance not very expensive.